Hi, Brave friends. It's Laura from the Brave Girl Project, and today I want to talk about popularity. I often have kids that when they come to talk to me at school, they'll share that there is something going on and that the popular kids are being mean, or I get the sense that they want to be popular. And so I kind of want to talk about this because I'm sure you might have some experience. Boys and girls both talk about this. So with popularity, we're usually talking about two types. Oftentimes, when our kids are young, the type of popularity we're talking about is likability. The kids who are easily liked, they're kind, they have good social skills, they know how to kind of help out and kind of navigate the social atmosphere of the class. As our kids get older, though, in upper elementary school, so kind of around fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade, you're going to see a different type of popularity that the kids become more aware of. And that is status. And it's oftentimes you're going to see the kids talk about and describe someone. And when you're hearing about this person, it doesn't sound like they're very kind or caring, but they know how to control the social atmosphere of the class and their status. So all of our kids, they all want the same three things. Every child wants to feel connected. They want to be recognized as being unique and an individual, and that what makes them special others see. And they also want power. We all want that at some level. And so you might have a child or a daughter who is obsessed with the popular kids. And in doing some different research and in reading some books, what I've discovered is that oftentimes with popularity, what it is also our expectations as parents kind of also sets our kids up. So our own experiences that we had can kind of dictate how we teach our kids to interact socially. So one thing that I found out is that if, say, for instance, you had a good experience growing up and you felt pretty happy and secure, most likely you're going to have a child that's pretty much could be average popularity or high popularity. If you, however, had an experience in school and really felt disengaged, you weren't connected, really frustrated from that experience, you might likely have a child who also has that same viewpoint and isn't seen as very popular. And then maybe you are that anxious or lonely person, and you might then really overcompensate or really focus on social skills and have that child that is average popular or very high popular. So what I kind of want to talk about is how we can help our kids not focus so much on the goal of popularity for the whole sole reason of being popular. Because when our kids are talking about that, what they're looking at is maintaining social status. And that gets into a very dangerous situation where they're always vying to try to keep that social status. And oftentimes, if they're trying to keep that social status, they're willing to do lots of things that normally they wouldn't be doing. And so it's, ignoring a friend one day, excluding others, having that very exclusive group. And I have a lot of young girls that I see, even in first grade, where they get focused on breaking into a certain friendship circle. And that becomes like their obsession and their sole focus. And because I think that focus is there, they're not able to kind of connect with other kids. And oftentimes what happens in the upper elementary grades is for those students that are kind of considered in the popular group, if they have someone who is eagerly trying to break into that group, they can sometimes become the target of relational aggression and bullying. So if you have a daughter or a son who is, going at it with all that they have to try and be popular, and that's their main focus, and they're obsessed with what other people say, if they're asking for like Instagram accounts or they're always texting. It may be that they're trying to find a way to break into that clique or that group. And they may be doing things like trying to get information about other people to share. They might share an embarrassing story about their best friend so that they can then act or be seen as someone who has information. And in that situation, what happens is they lose a part of themselves in, in that effort to become part of that group. So what I think is important as a parent is asking your child questions. You don't want to ask if they're popular, but just asking questions about like, if someone's popular in your grade, what makes them popular? Or what do you think it makes a person popular in 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade? And have them kind of just talk about and see what are the things that they list. Once you hear that list, most often you're going to start to hear things that sounds like they're popular because of the social status. And they do probably mean things to maintain that social status, a lot of controlling and manipulative behaviors. Now, there are kids who are popular because they are kind. But as we get older, and especially in that like upper 6th grade area, a lot of times we have that person who's popular, and they're popular because people are scared of them. And you kind of wonder, like, why does everyone want to be friends with this girl or this boy? Because they do so many things that put other kids down. But your child really wants to kind of connect. So after having that conversation about what makes someone popular in whatever grade your child is, ask them what makes someone unpopular. Or how is somebody on the outside of that popular circle? And then what I want you to try and do, and this is probably like conversations that take place over time. You don't want to sit down and have this one long conversation because your kids are kind of realizing that you're trying to teach them something. It's more easier to get some of this information in several conversations. But then looking at, well, how does this person treat like a best friend? Wow, that sounds like that's not the kindest thing. That must be really difficult to always feel like you have to make this person happy. And it can be really tough because as a parent, you might see that your child isn't connecting a healthy boundary and a healthy friendship, that they're willing to do things at all costs. And so there, what it is really trying to focus not on all the sense of belonging, but really trying to focus more on connection and trying to set up some other opportunities for your child to connect with other peers that are kind and that they maybe have common interests. And so reaching out to your child's teacher can be one thing that can be helpful. Especially if you have a daughter that is just obsessed with someone in her class. Reaching out to the teacher and asking, is she seeing that as an impact? Is there a way that they can help do special groupings or get her to work with someone else that might be a peer that would be a better fit? Another suggestion is reaching out to the counselor. Oftentimes in the younger grades, we see kids get overly emotional and upset and frustrated when they feel like they're not a part of that group or they're not getting to play with that preferred friend. And so sometimes maybe being in a social skills group with a school counselor or having a place where they can talk about those feelings and get some techniques so that they can help manage that overwhelm and that emotional response. The more emotional or aggressive a child is, oftentimes the less popular they are. So if you're having a child that is crying at the drop of a hat, that is something that then, other kids, can either make fun of or tease, or it just gets irritating for them also. And so working with perhaps the teacher or the counselor to help teach some of those management skills so that they can kind of manage those intense feelings in the classroom and not become so much of a target. So that could be maybe having a symbol with the teacher that if your child's feeling upset, they can take like a quick break or get a drink from the water fountain to try and get themselves together before falling apart in the class. And also letting your child's teacher know that maybe there's like a group dynamic going on that isn't healthy. Because in some of these power groups, it can be very difficult to discern what's going on. And oftentimes, someone who's very savvy socially, who has that power position, knows how to manipulate adults and give the impression that they're kind and caring. So connecting your child to other peers that they might have other things in common with is going to be really important. And also filling that friendship basket outside of school is going to be very important, because if they're in a dynamic at school and they're vying to try and increase their status, it becomes overwhelming and their sole focus. So making sure they have other outlets that are healthy, that can keep them focused in a positive way, is going to be very important as a parent. I don't suggest reaching out to other parents and saying that their child is being unkind, or isn't, treating your child in a nice way. Usually those conversations don't go well. It creates a very defensive situation. And like I shared earlier, a lot of times our own experience with popularity, it translates sometimes to then our kids. And so you might have a person, when we're at a different point, sometimes our perspective and our privilege from wherever we are provides a different vantage point. And so if you were to ask the most popular kid in class, is popularity a bad thing, or does that hurt other people? Most likely that popular kid is going to say, no, everyone is popular in their own groups, or everyone has their own group where they feel that they belong. And that's because that child is talking from that power of privilege, and they don't have the experience or the understanding of what's going on for those other kids who are excluded or not brought into the group. Another thing that you can do is get involved with your school's PTA and being a part of creating like a collaborative and community where all the kids belong and the parents all belong, and doing activities for the whole school can be a great way to try and help change the climate if you feel that it is a clique-based, or there's a lot of social status that's going on in the school. Making your school a place where everyone belongs is important. At my school, we have a wonderful program called the Positivity Project, and we had our pep rally at our school this past Friday, and I really see how that type of environment really sets the main message that like other people matter. So if you have a child who is going through that focus of popularity, trying to understand where they are socially and trying to then focus on the piece of likability and connecting them to other peers and reaching out to understand the social situation from the perspective of the teacher. So I hope this helps. I had mentioned at my last live that I'm going to be doing a Brave Mom book club, and I'm doing 2 books, and I'm focusing on queen bees and wannabes. And this has great information about the social status and the dynamics of cliques. So this can be really helpful, especially if you have a daughter that is very focused on being popular and you're trying to figure out how to kind of work with that. This is a great book. And the other book is Masterminds and Wingmen, also by Rosalind Wiseman. So I soon will have information for those book clubs so that we can get everybody to kind of start that discussion and start participating. So I hope that this has been helpful. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Monday, and I will be live next Monday at 5 o'clock. So I look forward to seeing you, and I will chat with you soon. Take care, friends, and continue to live life bravely. Bye.